Hello, everybody. This is Khalid Alghamdi from International and Foreign Education Office in Jeddah. And this is about the PIRLS simulated tests we administer every week. I made a video last week about how to get your results file ready and upload it, which I'll try to briefly go over again in a moment. There are a couple of things actually I want to point out and update you with some changes on what you need to do when we get there, of course. But first, let's go through what comes before the file. It's been 2 weeks and we still have a lot of inquiries about the link, the form, and the proper way to administer the test. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the whole process, and I might go over the issues some of you had last week and the week before. So without further ado, let me get straight to the point. So every week you're going to receive a link for the test. The first test was on Thursday. The second was on Tuesday. But from now on, the test will take place every Monday. Every Monday. Now, what you do after you open the test link is as easy as ABC. Just two simple steps. You hit duplicate. If you're not already signed in, then you will need to do so. Before this, a window will pop up and you will be required to sign in. If you've got an email linked to your school domain that is provided by Microsoft, then you can use that one. As far as I know, it must work. Otherwise, use your own Microsoft account. Once you are signed in, you will see this page. Do not change anything in here. Please do not add any field whatsoever. A field for student's name is there now. It was not included in the form of the first test, but that was fixed in the one of the second week. And the name field was added as the first item right after the passage. Now, according to the latest information we've been updated with, mostly by the time you watch this and from now on, starting from the upcoming test to be precise, that is the third week, the name field will be the last item in the list. This one here. I highly recommend that you ask your students to start writing their names first. That should be the first thing they do. Ask them to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the form and write their names. Then they can start reading the passage and answering the questions so that if for any reason they get disconnected, you don't get anonymous responses. So in brief, just one simple thing to do on this page. Click on send and then copy. This is the link you need, the link you give to your students. Do not create a link out of this option here. That doesn't work. You don't want to do that. You wouldn't get responses out of this. So just copy from here. And if you're doing this just before the class, you can keep this window open and give the link to your students. Otherwise, save the link somewhere. Let me save it here. And make sure you don't mix this with the link we send you, this one here. If you want to save these links in a note like this or a Word document. Some teachers mistakenly gave our link, this one here, to their students and reported to us that they didn't receive responses. Of course you didn't. I suggest you name them. It's better you name them. Let's name this one. Give it a name like the ministry, or better to be duplicated. And this one here to be administered. Uh, this is the one. This is the one you are supposedly covered to give to your students. Once you deliver the link to your students, they can access the test. And this is one of the issues I want to talk about. Some schools claim that their students didn't have Microsoft accounts, or that the schooling platform utilized in their school was Zoom or Meet or whatever. Your students don't need to have Microsoft accounts to access the link you create and give to them. And it doesn't matter what platform you use. Anyone you give the link to can access and answer the questions. Even if you send it to someone via social media or texting app, they can access. They are not required to sign in, just like Google Forms you all are familiar with. And to prove that, I'm going to sign out of here. Now I'm going to click on the link, this one here, I've just copied, as if I were a student. Okay. Now let me answer these questions and submit my answers to show you what to do next. But for the sake of the time, I'll pause the video now and I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so as you see here, I've submitted my answers and I'm going to sign into my Microsoft account. If you are still logged in, you would see the responses instantly, of course. If not, you need to log in. If you can't see forms here in this group, click on all apps and then forms. And then you go to responses and then review answers. This is where you can check the answers and the given marks. When it comes to written responses, students may do some typing mistakes. And because of that, they get 0. So you have to read these responses. As you see here, I deliberately misspelled the name of Galileo. So I was granted 0 for this item. You need to change that to 1. Mistyping is highly probable, so it's really important that you go through these written responses. When you're done, you go here and move to the other student and the next one, and so on. After you complete this part for all students, go back from here. And now all that's left to do is to save the results in Excel here. And this is our file here. Now, this part is of great importance. I need your full attention, please. Whether you are the teacher working on this part or the assigned coordinator of the school. First, you need to change the name of the file. You have to write the name of your school, let's say X, space, dash, space, and then the gender, which is say boys in this case. And then you open the file. And here's the thing. Maybe you don't know that after we receive the files from all schools, we combine them into one single file. And it's almost impossible to do so when these files are dissimilar, not having the exact same formatting, content distribution and arrangement, and the number and order of columns. Truly, it's immensely frustrating. We spend hours and hours working on the files you send. just to get them back to what you see here. This style and formatting, the number and order of columns. It's such a nightmare for us to do that. That's why we urge you not to change anything, please. The table, as you see here, might have some extra columns, like the ID here, or this one here, the name. Leave everything as is, and don't insert anything in them at all. I asked you in the previous video to add a column here for school ID. Well, no more. Don't do that. Just head to the far right of the table. And here, you will see the names of your students listed in this column. Let me extend this table for the purpose of this demo. Let's say that you have 20 students. Now, if there are two columns to the right side of student's name, as you see here, change their headings to student ID here and school ID in the last column. But if the last column in the table is student's name and no other columns to the right side of it, then you will have to add these two columns. And the right way to do that, well, let me delete them first. Click on any cell in the last column and then right click, insert, table column to the right. Do that again. And now you have two columns. As we said, the first column right next to student's name will be student ID. And the last one is school ID. Now, you will have to add the ID number for each of the names listed here in this column. Remember, this is the civil ID for Saudi students or Iqama number for non-Saudis, not the number given by some schools to their students. And the last one here is the school ID. As I explained before, there is a number assigned by the Ministry of Education for each stage in all schools. If there is elementary stage and intermediate stage in your school, for instance, then there are two different numbers identifying each of them. It's called الرقم الوزاري for those of you who speak Arabic. You can obtain this number, by the way, from your principal or the coordinator of Noor system in your school. Just be sure you get the elementary stage number. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can copy it to other cells below. Just click, drag down to the last cell. Make sure you don't go beyond the last cell, please. Now, if you have more than one section in grade 4 and therefore you are mostly going to test them in different periods, you can use the same link you copied so that you get all responses in one Excel file when you save them. But if you happen to generate more than one link for your students, for any reason, let's say there's more than one English teacher for grade 4 sections, and each one use their own link. In this case, you will need to combine the results file you have into one. And to do that, click on the last cell in the first column, right click, insert, and then table row below. Then you copy the contents of the other file or files, but not the headings. Let me show you in quick how to do that. Now you start from here, not the heading, from number 2, and then go down to the last row. Then copy. Now back to our file and this is the one we added. Select, right click, or just V, Control V, and that's it. But if it's just one file, then you save your work. So in summary, when you open the file, just go to the last columns here and fill in the ID numbers and school ID, and then save. Now, the last step is uploading your file. We have provided you with a link to upload your files to. You will always upload to that link, so don't lose it and keep it somewhere you can easily locate. When you open the link, save this link, name it as files like here, or upload files here. The link takes you to this page where you see two folders here, boys and girls. So for male students, you open this folder and then upload and you select your file. Or you can simply click on the file, drag and drop it in one of these folders, based on gender, of course. So please be careful there. And that's it. Thank you. And if you need any help, my colleagues and I would be pleased to assist you. And one more thing, allow me to remind you of something. Maybe I should have talked about this earlier. I just want to emphasize that students should not sense any sort of tension, nor their parents, of course, when they take the test. The test is it's kind of training, a weekly exercise that's conducted in an English class. It's as simple as that. That's how we should deal with it. The goal, after all, is to enhance students' abilities in reading comprehension. And you will see how these abilities are developed greatly by the end of this program. And that actually takes me to another critically important matter. I'm pretty sure that you all understand the significance of these tests. Students should not get help from their families when they read the passage and answer the questions. Uh, you know, real and true results help you and us to pinpoint the difficulties our students encounter. I'm sure you know that diagnosing the problem is the first step to deal with it. There is no way we can treat or fix the unknown. We will not be able to help our students to overcome the difficulties they have in reading comprehension if we can't identify these difficulties. Finally, I would like to thank you for your hard work. What you do is highly appreciated. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you and good luck.